Hello, 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 my beautiful queens. Happy New Year. I'm so happy and excited to be back here with you guys. I hope everybody feels renewed, re-energized, refreshed. I know I do. A little time off is good for the soul, right? Speaking of which, it's Thursday. I'm recording this for you guys for Monday a little bit ahead of time because I'm in Miami and I am going up to New York, which I am so excited about. For those of you in New York, little sidebar, I am speaking at a Diane von Furstenberg event and I can have a few more people as my guest. We did send out an email, and so I know that I already confirmed a couple of people, more like 10, to join as my guest. So if one or two more people want to slide into my DMs, drop me a DM. You can join me. I will send you the rest of the intel. It is on Wednesday after work. So you can just DM me at Nicole Rose Stillings. I'm guessing if you are listening to this, you know how to spell that, or you can find it in the show notes. If you want to join me, we are talking about my theme of the year, manifesting your best self with your best style. Just for Wednesday night. But style is a really important part of our identity as women, right? So we will be breaking that down and helping you guys create a vision for the woman that you want to grow into and show up as over the next year. So super, super excited. Wow, that just got me back into the right energy. I was feeling a little, so I start work on Sundays. Anybody who knows me well, my clients all know this because I practice what I preach, but I try to get them into the groove of just really getting out ahead of your week, getting out ahead of your energy, getting out ahead of everything, right? And so I started work on Sunday. And so by Thursday afternoon, I'm like in Friday afternoon energy, right? Like, cause it feels like a Friday afternoon. It's kind of that, like, I just kind of want to fuck off energy. Like maybe I want to go splash around in the ocean right now. But instead I'm here because I love you guys and I'm really excited to sit back with you. It's funny, every time, even when I take a couple weeks off, I realize how much I miss this. So thank you for holding space for me to have a little vacation. I hope you guys had an amazing time. I hope you guys have some big dreams and visions for 2023. I know everybody listening to this is curating, molding, and shifting their energy, and that you're a queen and you're worthy of all your dreams. So let's get into the episode that I have for you today. You guys know that my goal here is short, quick, 10, 15, 20 max minute episodes where we give you something actionable that you can start to implement in your life and mold your energy. Big queen energy, right? It's kind of the name of the show. So this episode is launching on 1/23, January 23rd, 1/23, kind of a weird day. And it's actually my father's birthday. I don't know if I brought him up that much on the show. I have talked about him in some of my master classes before, but he was my example of being a master manifester. He was my example of what it meant to be a master of creation in my life. From a young age, I saw him. I saw the way he could influence a room, a situation, a courtroom, a news channel. He would really mold his own energy and shift the power dynamic and bring about the outcome that he had intended. And more on that, but it does relate to what I want to talk about today. This episode, I'm sure you noticed, is called Your Subconscious Genie. Your subconscious is a genie in a bottle, right? You guys know that this is real and raw and unedited. And I just give you the best and don't waste my time on the rest. So your subconscious is a genie in a bottle. I'm going to explain that statement a little bit more towards the end of this, but I'm sure everybody can relate with me when I ask this. Have you ever heard anybody say, you can be anything you want to be, right? And sometimes you might feel like, yeah, depending on what energy you're in. And then other times you might feel like, what a load of crap. Or maybe that's easy for you to say, or, you know, whatever kind of response you're having to that statement. And what's really interesting about this statement as you dig more into the spiritual work is that the statement in and of itself isn't true. It's what we believe about that becomes our truth. It's what we believe about being anything that we want to be. If we can or we can't, then that's what it is, right? And so the difference between people who get what they want in life and people who don't is simple. And it's that they think better thoughts than the people who don't. They are maybe more disciplined, you could say, although I don't love using that word because it turns a lot of people off immediately because, no one wants to be disciplined. However, the Dalai Lama says discipline is happiness. He actually wrote a whole book on it that I read like 10 years ago. Thought it was really, really revolutionary back then. So people that get what they want focus on thinking about what it is that they want, achieving more clarity around what their vision for the future is, their goals, their dreams, not what they don't want, not focusing on the opposite. They talk about the solutions, not the problems. They talk about the future more than they focus on the past. Their program is different. What do I mean by that? Your program is your subconscious, okay? So their thoughts, beliefs, patterns of thinking, ways of being, habits, they are different. These are all the items that make up your identity. But they're treating their subconscious like a genie in a bottle. They're giving it specific directives. They're not driving it all over the place, confusing it, giving it 100 things to focus on. They've got a few key goals. And they continue to take action and think thoughts in the direction of those goals. If you want more on the reason behind, having 3 to 5 goals and not 105 goals, there is a full episode on goal setting down below, and we will do more on that coming up. So stay tuned, but there is a reason to all of this. So I was a daddy's girl growing up. I know I'm not the only one who listens to this podcast called Big Queen Energy that feels that way, right? Our dads could be our biggest supporters at times, right? Our mothers are all amazing. I love my mother very, very much, but there's something about the female-father bond that's really, really special, right? My father, he had this attitude, this energy, this power that was intoxicating. Like when you have 2 glasses of wine and you're feeling that like tipsy confidence? That was him, like all day, every day. And I remember I'm like getting a lot of emails right now. Apparently it's just very important while we're talking about your subconscious being a genie in a bottle. Maybe this is a message from the universe, but it really intrigued me how my father could control the energy in a room and continue to always build forward momentum on the things that were important to him, even when life was kind of throwing in lemons. And so when he told me, he said this from a very young age, probably started around 3 years old. So when he told me that I could be anything I wanted to be, he always used to say to me, "You're going to be the CEO." I believed him, right? He came from very humble beginnings. I saw his power. He was very successful. He built everything from scratch. And so in my eyes, I had this example that led me to believe that it must be possible for me too, right? I even share the same DNA as him. So it planted a seed in me from the age of 3 to try to prove him right, to prove it really to myself, right? That I could be anything that I want to be. I remember specifically, I don't know if any of you guys know this, but I used to work in marketing. My last job, I was director of social media at an agency in Soho, and it was quite intense, to say the least. It was before there were scheduling tools. Everything was very new back then. I was very young, 25, managing a team of 12. I was in over my head a little bit, but I loved it. But we all burn out if we don't take time off. And there was about a year straight where I worked 7 days a week, and that's not a recipe for success. We know that now. I did not necessarily know that back then, or really have a different choice, I guess you could say. There are definitely different choices, but I didn't necessarily know how to communicate my needs at that point or what needed to shift. Even I didn't really have the clarity. I waited till I was in emergency mode to communicate that there was a problem. And that's never good. We all know that, right? We can always be much more effective when we get out ahead of it. But long story short, I called him. I was having a really tough couple of weeks at work. I was having this essentially meltdown. I would leave on Friday afternoons. Friday afternoon energy now, and Friday afternoon when I'm telling this story. And I would call him from this park that was near my office so I could just kind of get a little privacy. And it was in this moment of distress and misery, I was literally crying, like mascara streaming down my face. Somehow this little light bulb went off in my head that was like, this isn't the real problem. The real problem is that you're not doing what you want to do. You're not being authentic to you. And in that moment, I found this ounce of confidence, which I had been wanting to tell somebody for years, and I was scared because it seemed so outrageous at the time. I decided I didn't want to just keep arguing and complaining about how my job sucked. I was going to tell him the truth, and I was terrified, but I just blurted it out. I said, I want to be a DJ. And there was a pause, of course. But his reaction was like shocking. He was like, okay, that's great. And I was like, what? I'm sorry. What? Like, you're not yelling, you're not freaking out, you're not mad. And it was the most freeing moment just for me to say that to someone, any other human, really. It kind of didn't matter at that point because it had just been bubbling up so much inside of me. And for another human, especially somebody I respected and trusted, to just hear me and support me, it was such a freeing moment. It was one of those moments that really was a defining moment in my life, in my evolution, especially until, I realigned with my now purpose, right? This manifestation work, that was a really impactful moment in my career. And so with that approval, right, with his kind of words of encouragement, I started finding my way, winding down that career and leaving that job and finding my way into the DJ career. So setting myself up for success, which meant lots of actual actions towards making money DJing, like investing in equipment, writing a business plan, doing outreach, hiring a coach, starting to play some events for free, right? So I had to take the scary action steps to actually make sure that I could do this before I quit my job, or at least that was my process. I know that's not what everyone does. I can only share what felt right for me. And I do believe that was the right way for my own energy to handle the situation, because I felt a bit more safe while I was going after my dream, which that safety freed up more energy and more creativity for me to be more successful at building the DJ business. And so at the same time, I was also, that's really, like, it's about 11 years ago. It's really, really what hardcore kicked off me getting an MBA in manifestation, right? I read close to 100 books on the brain, on spirituality, on manifestation, on purpose, on abundance. And I was just literally in my own little school of manifestation, teaching myself how to reprogram my brain to achieve my goals, which is literally the whole basis of the manifest mindset. So I quit my job. Through all my research, I built the manifest mindset tuner, the thing that I literally teach now, this 3-minute tool that's customized to each individual that reprograms our subconscious brain to believe we can achieve our goals, right? The key word there being so that you believe it. Because when we believe that we can achieve what we want, we feel more confidence to take the action steps that will eventually lead us down the path to receiving it. Right? If we want something and we don't believe that we can achieve it, we're never going to get it because there's too much resistance, or it might take a lifetime, right? And our goal by manifesting on earth, by being these creators that get to live this beautiful lifestyle, mold the clay with our own very hands, is that we get to keep creating, that we can have lots of different experiences, and that we're not beholden to one purpose or one career. It can shift over a lifetime. And I think I'm an example of that, and of how it's incredibly exciting to do that, to be this cat that lives 9 lives while you're here and have all of these different experiences. So what we're really talking about is the subconscious brain. right? At the end of the day, what did I do when I shifted out of my social media career into the DJ career? I reprogrammed my subconscious brain to believe that I was this up and coming DJ. I assumed the identity of a DJ and started forming habits, actions, and beliefs that I would be successful in this endeavor, that my success was actually inevitable because I was reprogramming my brain to believe it. What's really interesting about the way that the brain works is 90% of who we are is pre-programmed by the age of 35. Okay. I'm like 36 right now. So I'm basically screwed. No, I'm just kidding. I'm good. I've been doing this work a long time and I'm doing this work every single day. But even shifting that 10% can transform our lives. Right? That 10% is where the magic happens because our program is our power. Our program creates our reality. So this is what I mean when I say that the subconscious is like a genie in a bottle. Because when we give it just a few specific instructions, it holds those priorities in our mind and looks for ways to help us achieve them. But when we aren't clear on our goals, we send split energy to the universe and we slow down the process. We build resistance into the process. And then when we're not seeing the results, what happens? It erodes our self-belief. One of my own coaches says that manifestation just comes down to two things, right? Belief and desire. That's what I say. And what he says is belief and doubt. Right? So when we're not seeing results, then the doubt starts to increase and then that wreaks havoc on the whole process. The subconscious is such an important part of our brain because it's 90% of our brain. Our conscious mind is only 10%. Why is that? Because our subconscious is housed through the entire body and our conscious mind is housed in our heads and these hard-headed things we have up here. So if you think about it like this, it's ironic that we spend most of our time optimizing our conscious brain and completely ignoring our subconscious, right? We read books, we take new courses, we go to school, we go to college, we get graduate degrees, maybe even an MBA. And that's all fine and dandy, but all that work only optimizes 10% of our brains. The work that we do in my program, the Manifest Mindset, helps you optimize the other 90%, the most important part. And then you put this program on autopilot to help you achieve your goals. Why? Because you're a queen and you're worthy of all of your dreams. I think since I've said that twice, we should just make that our mantra for our day. And I'm going to get ready to close down here because I promised short, quick hits. And I will be talking more about the subconscious in my upcoming workshop. And I would love for you to come if this is interesting and you want to learn more about it. So our mantra for today is close your eyes or look in the mirror, right? And speak it to yourself. I am a queen worthy of all my dreams. I am a queen worthy of all my dreams. I am a queen worthy of all of my dreams. I want you to say it until you feel it, right? That's how you know that the energy is taking root in your soul. So I know that I gave a little intro to the subconscious today. If this is something that you're really curious to learn more about, or if you just really want nothing to get in the way of hitting your goals this year, I got you, boo. I feel you. I have been that person and I still am that person. So that is exactly why I just launched the waitlist for my brand new, incredibly powerful 1-hour workshop called Manifest Your Best Self. So if you are thinking about whether or not you want to attend, this is for you. If you experience anxiety on a regular basis and you want to learn some natural tools, if you're feeling called to a greater purpose, we're going to expand on that. If you want to believe that you can achieve your biggest goals and dreams, this is definitely for you. If you want to kick off this new year with way better habits, this is for you. If you are an empath and you want to learn how to manage your energy, or you just want tools to improve your mental health, you should definitely join me. I am going to be teaching the blocks that prevent you from becoming your best self, the best manifestation technique that hands down works for everyone. It's never failed. I've coached thousands of people. Trust me, it works. My 5-step process that guarantees your transformation and how to create a clear vision for your best self. So this is the first invite. If you join the waitlist, you will be receiving one of the first spots. We're capping this at 100 people. Why? Because my last one had 400 people, and I'm committing to answering all of your burning questions on manifestation at the end. So show up and reserve your spot if you are feeling called to this, if this is something that you are passionate about learning, and if you have a burning desire to achieve your goals this year. Grab your spot. Now, the link is in my show notes or in my IG bio, and I can't wait to see you inside. I love you guys so much, and I will be with you on the show next week.